Hey everybody, Mike Nelson, CEO of Efficient Lending Incorporated. I hope everybody is doing well this late September. I cannot believe we're starting the fourth quarter. It's crazy. Hey, I am back at it with my weekly agent and market updates. These will come out every Tuesday, Facebook and YouTube. You'll be able to pick up this information. And basically these updates are a look at what happened the week past, how it's affecting us today, and maybe some forecast look into the future. And all my information comes from MBS Highway, which is Barry Habib's subscription site that I subscribe to. And if you don't know who Barry Habib is, take a Google on it and you'll realize that I'm getting some really good information. So we'll be starting putting this back up on a weekly basis. So for this week, the topic of conversation, we're going to look at unemployment. I want to talk a little bit about the Fed and interest rates. They came out with news last week that I think is important. Residential construction starts. That, if you heard media on that, it probably was not reported properly. A real estate report card tool that I think is really valuable in this marketplace right now to help buyers negotiate the terms of their deal based on the property they're buying. And then it's a big news week, and we want to take a look at that and have some expectations for it. So let's first talk about the Fed and the news that came out last week. If you were paying attention, you may have heard that Chairman Powell basically said they're going to keep the Fed funds rate at near zero up until 2023. Everybody went crazy and says this is great news. Personally, I don't think it is great news because I think it brings in inflation strongly into play for some other reasons. And if you want to talk through that, just call me, send me a message. Be happy to go through that with you. But it also causes a lot of market confusion because everybody thinks, hey, the Fed dropped rates, so therefore mortgage rates are going to stay that as well. It's not the case. These are two very disconnected products. Yet, yes, they're connected in the market loosely. Yes, when the market moves, they're affected. But you have to understand, we could very easily have an environment in which we have near zero Fed rates, but because of inflation, because of federal monetary policy, we see mortgage-backed rates, mortgage-backed securities rising and potentially rising substantially. So just because you hear Fed say the Fed funds rate is going to be at near zero, this overnight federal funds rate doesn't mean that a 30-year interest rate is going to be the same. They're very different interest rates. One's daily and the other could be 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, something of that nature. So think about the market, tune into my updates, get good information on what's potentially going to happen with the federal funds rate. All right, let's take a look real quick. Initial jobless claims, this is important. This will be part of really my weekly update for the foreseeable future. We still have 860,000 people last week filed for unemployment. It's 4x higher than it was pre-COVID. The number is coming down, but I think we got to really look at this with some caution. The Bureau of Labor is coming in at 8.4% unemployment rate, which is down substantially from where it was. However, they're not taking into account people that are not on unemployment but still receiving pandemic unemployment assistance. The actual unemployment rate is probably quite a bit higher. So we just really want to watch this and see what comes through. Residential construction numbers came out last week, and the media was probably saying if you look at these, you'll see the numbers are down year over year. Actually, if you back out multifamily and just focus solely on single family, which is by far the lifeblood of real estate, you'll notice that single family starts up 4%, 12% year over year, 6%, 16% on permits. So the market is really vibrant and robust. If you're an agent, you're probably seeing that reflected in your contracts. So just understand, you got to parse out these numbers to really understand, what's going on in the marketplace. Here's a tool that I think is really useful. I'm seeing a lot of contracts come across my desk right now in which, might have appraisal waiver. If it comes in short, the buyer is guaranteeing X dollars of cash to the table to make up the shortage, or, inspections waived except for health and safety, things of those natures. So those are really seller-focused terms, and really the buyer's at somewhat of disadvantage because of the inventory constrictions in the marketplace. So to help the buyer negotiate, is that a risk on the contract worth it? You can look at a real estate report card that's going to go down to the address, the zip code level. Look at median home price, appreciation, inventory, affordability, unemployment. And so now they can say, well, if the house is going to appreciate by X forecasted over a certain period of time, maybe some of that additional risk in the contract is worth it. I think it's a great tool. All you got to do is just call me, give me an address, and I'll send this out to you. And I think it's a tool that your buyers really need to have. The last thing I want to hit on is, guys, it is a big news week. We got existing home sales, new home sales. These will all affect and influence the market. And we'll be looking at these in detail next Tuesday when I do my next update. Just kind of keep an eye out for these this week as they come through. And of course, I'm going to share that information. All right, that is my update for this week, the week of the 21st of September. As always, I love meeting people, love to talk